What's up guys, welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. Now in today's video I'm doing another update on the fish in the Goldfish Mega Tank and the super simple budget aquarium. Nothing too exciting in this video, but I always want to keep you guys updated with what's going on. Now recently the Instagram account has been absolutely blowing up, and if you're not following us on there, make sure you do for daily videos of the fish in the Mega Tank and also the super simple budget aquarium. Now I'm going to start this video off unfortunately with some pretty bad news, and then we do have some good news towards the end of the video. But unfortunately Cornelius, the new Aranda that I got from Star Fisheries around a month ago, unfortunately he died and he didn't make it. Now his counterpart, King Kong or Kong, the black short body short tail Aranda, is doing absolutely fantastic and he's doing so well. Now I thought I'd just do that little update, let you know that Cornelius unfortunately didn't make it. Now you may be asking, why didn't he make it? Now the thing is, I don't think he settled into the tank properly. I never got him to feed that well and he wasn't hugely active. Now I believe this was an internal problem, and I could have done an autopsy like I did on Aurora, the current Aranda, which unfortunately passed away around 3 months ago. That was actually due to a infection in the swim bladder. But on this occasion, I think it was just one of those things, part of the fancy goldfish keeping hobby. Unfortunately, he didn't make it, and I think he was just not accustomed to the tank. Maybe there was a slight change in temperature from where he was at Star Fisheries, or maybe the water quality was slightly different, or the water parameters were slightly different to Star Fisheries, and it just didn't settle in. And that is just one of those things with the fancy goldfish hobby. Now I always wanted to keep things real, and there is nothing I could have done about it. I'm not kicking myself because I couldn't have done anything differently. Unfortunately, it's just part of that. So that is it, but the rest of the fish are doing absolutely great and there are no problems at all. They're all feeding really well, no issues at all, so I'm not worried about the other fish. It was just one of those things and just got to chalk up to a loss unfortunately, and he didn't make it. But let's head over to the super simple budget goldfish tank and we can do a little update on those, because I think around a week and a half ago I did a video where unfortunately Mario passed away. Lots of fish deaths, or a couple of fish deaths coincidentally in a short period, and I just thought I'd update you on that tank, and actually I pretty much determined what was the problem, so let's talk about that a little bit more. Here we are at the super simple budget aquarium. Now Naruto and Lava Boy are doing absolutely fantastically and we have no issues now whatsoever. Naruto has fully recovered and they're both feeding, as you can see, super active, begging for food, so I'm really happy. All of the hemorrhaging on Naruto's fins went there. He had a little bit of fin rot on his caudal fin and dorsal fin. That's completely gone as well now and they are absolutely fine. As you can see, I completely cleaned the tank out, got rid of the green carpet algae because it wasn't growing too well, and I kind of like the look of this tank really clear as it is. Now we did lose Mario, I think by the time I recorded the video, I think it was probably about 2 weeks ago now. Now as I mentioned in that video, I came into the room one morning and Naruto and Mario were looking terrible, absolutely awful, loads of hemorrhaging on the fins. I believe they had what looked to be septicemia or blood poisoning, and I couldn't work out what the problem was. Lava Boy was absolutely fine, active, feeding, no issues at all. I hadn't done a water change in probably about a week, so it wouldn't have been any new water I added to the system, and I just couldn't work out what had gone wrong. Now I have come to some conclusions and I feel like I've realised what went wrong, and I thought I would explain that on the video today. As I said, I hadn't done a water change in around a week, hadn't added any new fish, hadn't cross-contaminated any equipment with my other tank or any other aquariums, so I was saying it most likely wouldn't have been a disease or a parasite issue. So I could only put it down to being a water quality issue, but obviously Lava Boy wasn't showing any symptoms, which was strange. Did a big water change straight away, and then I did a second water change the day after, and then I also did another water change about 3 days after that. And Naruto made a full recovery. As you can see, it's been 2 weeks. Unfortunately, it was too much for Mario and he did pass away. completely unrelated incident to Cornelius. It was just a coincidence. And it is one of those things, as I mentioned in the hobby, it does happen. This is livestock we are looking after and caring for, and it does happen. But as always, I want to always keep it real with you guys and always keep you updated to let you know the ups and the downs of the fancy goldfish keeping world. So I did those water changes. I took some mucus scrapes, no parasites whatsoever. So about a week after Mario passed, and he still has them, Naruto developed these black areas on the body, not his normal black coloration, but under the chin area. I'll try and put some pictures on the screen. Under the chin area and on the body, he had a few black patches, and this wasn't new color. Generally, when fish get this, it is ammonia burn, or something has burnt them and they get that as a sort of secondary sort of aftermath as the healing process starts to come on. So I'm definitely ruling this down to water quality. I definitely believe it was an ammonia or a nitrite problem. Now, the only thing I can't identify is why that happened, and why it happened very acutely, very quickly, overnight, when the fish were feeding absolutely fine the night before, and in the morning they were worse for wear. The only thing I can assume is either A, I had a power cut, or B, this filter stopped working overnight for a number of hours. The oxygen in the tank rapidly depleted. The filter bacteria potentially died off, causing a massive spike in ammonia. The fish had been feeding many times the day before. Maybe they probably had like 6 or 8 feeds the day before. And I'm just wondering if maybe a real low oxygen and high ammonia, maybe high nitrite problem, caused the fish massive stress, caused a bacterial problem, maybe led to septicemia. That is all I can really chalk it down to, and that, I think, is what happened, unfortunately. Now, to combat that in the future, always make sure your pumps are cleaned and your filters are cleaned. Now, I do actually regularly take the pump in this dual bioflow filter apart and make sure it's clean. So it wasn't I couldn't have really done much else about it. Maybe if I had some sponge filters or an air pump or a battery backup, that would have potentially eliminated the problem, and that's what I would do in future. Obviously, with the Goldfish Mega Tank, it is a big volume of water, so it does take a long time for the oxygen to deplete, the temperature to change, or any filter bacteria to cause any kind of pollution. But as we are keeping fish in smaller tanks, it is a lot harder and problems happen a lot faster, which is why I always advocate to keep fish in the biggest tank you possibly can. And obviously these guys are in a small aquarium, not for the rest of their life, just for their grow out in our super simple budget aquarium series. So that is the updates, that is the positive and obviously the negative with Cornelius. I thought I would just address the Hulk's goldfish food that I spoke about in a last video. Now, I mentioned in the last video, the channel is not sponsored by them, and it hasn't been for the past 2-3 months, something like that. And I thought I would do a little update to say that obviously I still love the food, and I just, unfortunately, the business could not supply the food into the UK and into Europe, which is why I stopped advertising it, because I didn't want people to get a full sense of security that they could order this food and it would arrive, and that is why it came to a stop. Now, I really do hope sometime maybe in the distant future that the business gets those problems sorted, they can get that supply of food, and then they can get back up and running. So I really do hope that, because it is the best food that I personally have tried. That is just my personal opinion, and I do really like it. But I just thought I would go into a little bit more detail on why I stopped advertising the Hulk's food and stopped showing it. And it was just because there was a supply issue and problems with the business, but I absolutely love the product, and hopefully one day, maybe, you never know, we might be sponsored by Hulk's again. But I do hope that Hulk's can get themselves sorted, and they can get that food supply sorted and hopefully be up from there, maybe just a small blip in the business. But that is a little update, and I just wanted to drop that information as we are sort of doing a little update video here. But overall, now everyone seems happy. No more fish deaths. The tanks are both running really well. I'm super happy with the sand substrate, and the Goldfish Mega Tank is doing absolutely great. No problems with clarity issues yet. No issues with bacteria, nothing like that. And I'm really liking it. The fish are definitely as active. They may be a little bit more active having the sand substrate rather than having the bare bottom tank. So I've only seen positives so far, but obviously with anything we need to see how it does in the long term and in the long run, and if it's going to be good for them in the future. But that's it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you do have any questions, any queries, any ideas about future videos, let me know down below. If you want to have your tank or setup featured on the channel in our Rate My Tank series or our Tank Tour series, drop me an email. The email is down below, or pop me a message on Instagram or Facebook. But that's it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up, and happy fish keeping.